Hello and welcome back to the latest episode of It Was a Square podcast with me, Sean.
And Brooke.
This week, I spent a long time thinking about what I wanted to show Brooke. And I also thought about making it more of like a fun event every week that we get to do. So I made homemade burgers and fries from the air fryer that we have because we're old.
Super into air fryers.
Yeah, well, Brooke is.
You are too. The crispy onions you made
were the
MVP
of the meal. I was like, they were really good, but I can't remember why. That is why. Deep fried some onions, and oh man.
Not in the air fryer.
Yeah, very good. So we've been married for almost a year. March 27. Woot woot. Nice.
It's like we've been married for almost a year.
Yeah. And in that time, I feel like I've shown you a lot of the really good movies already. Like, we've seen all three Matrix together. Like, I showed you that. My family showed you the very underappreciated Drowning Mona, which is very good.
I think you just showed me.
My parents were there. Really? I think I tried to show you and you were not into it and you fell asleep. And then my parents and I showed you and we made sure you did not fall asleep. I guarantee my parents were there. My parents are offended right now that you're shaking your head no.
I think it was the time they were gone.
No, I promise you it's not.
Okay, well. Disagree to disagree.
You said overalls? That's a little Easter egg for y'all that are familiar with Drowning Mona. Great movie, check it out. So, like, a lot of the stuff that I really love as movies, I, of course, showed you when we were dating or when we first got married.
It's true.
So, this week was a bit tough. And we've been watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Just finished it, actually. RIP.
Yeah. The last couple episodes took us a couple days because we didn't want it to end.
Yeah, once you watch it all, there's no more left to watch.
There's nothing else.
And yeah, we've been struggling. So if you have any good TV shows that you want to recommend, put it in the comments below. Because we're
desperate.
Yeah, we're exactly.
It's hard to find stuff that we both really enjoy watching.
True.
So I'd say it has to be like Brooklyn Nine-Nine we both loved. Schitt's Creek,
we
hilarious.
Both loved, yeah. We're currently watching WandaVision, but that's 30 minutes once a week. It's not enough.
Yeah.
It's very good, though. And, like, you watched all of The Crown. We watched all of, like, the classic stuff.
Independently.
Yeah.
From Sean.
I was in the room sometimes. But the reason I bring up Brooklyn Nine-Nine is because he brings up Die Hard every episode, nearly. I was like, I should show her Die Hard. Die Hard's a great classic, but I've already shown you an 80s action movie. Like, I've already done Terminator 1, and I plan to do Terminator 2, so I can't have all of my things just be that. So, as you can tell from the title, I decided to show you X-Men 2. I grew up with Spider-Man, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, and these X-Men movies my whole life. Like, since I was a kid, I just watched them over and over again. I love them all. I think X-Men 2 is the best of the first three X-Men. And I would have shown you Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man 1 and 2 are better movies than all of the X-Men movies. But you are familiar with Spider-Man, and you're almost wholly unfamiliar with X-Men.
It's true.
And funnily enough, like 5 or 6 days before we watched X-Men 2, we watched X-Men Days of Future Past, just like on a whim. I clicked it, I was like, have you seen any X-Men movies? And you said no. And I said, you know what, I don't think you need to know much going into this movie. Like, I'll just explain it as it comes up, and I think you'll be fine.
I was fine.
Well.
Yeah, I feel like I've only started doing this since we've been married. Like, Marvel movies or X-Men or whatever, I'm like, what's happening? Who's that guy? Is he good or bad?
Yeah.
And I don't want to know if we're not supposed to know, but I just feel like I'm always, because I'm unfamiliar.
You're actively watching.
And I'm unfamiliar, so I feel like, oh, I should know XYZ.
X-Men YZ.
So I just ask a lot of questions, unfortunately.
Which is fine. Like, it's just funny, though, because I think you need to know the absolute most about all of the X-Men stuff for X-Men Days of Future Past. Like, 2 separate timelines, converging, like, it's a lot.
Here's the other thing with me. Similar movies, like, blend together. So, like, I've seen most of the Marvel movies, and I like most of the Marvel movies. Could I tell you what happens?
You're talking MCU.
Yeah.
Like Iron Man onward.
Yeah. Could not tell you, like, what happens in one movie opposed to the other.
Yep. And another reason I chose this movie is because it's so topical with, spoiler alert, I guess, for WandaVision. Quicksilver showing up from the X-Men movies.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought, we just watched Days of Future Past, we watched that episode of WandaVision. Why don't we get a little bit more backstory with, like, the X-Men universe, so.
And I was grateful to see... Okay, I do remember one thing that happens in that movie regarding Quicksilver.
Yeah.
So that was fun for the WandaVision reveal. Like, I knew who that was.
Like, just watched it on a whim, completely.
And I got it.
Yeah.
We also watched whatever Marvel movie we needed to watch for me to get the Quicksilver where he dies.
Yeah, and we watched Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
I think that's why we watched Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh yeah, like Quicksilver's in this movie. Why don't we watch Days of Future Past, where I think a better version of Quicksilver is. No offense to Aaron Taylor Johnson, who you love.
I mean, he was like my first celebrity crush, but that was so long ago.
Yeah. Probably my current favorite director is Taika Waititi. And I think I didn't know who he was when I first watched Thor Ragnarok, but I was like, oh, that's a good movie. And then my friend showed me Hunt for the Boulder People, and I love that movie. And I kind of like looked up who directed it and saw What We Do in the Shadows as well, another of his movies. And I found out he directed Thor Ragnarok, and I was like, wow, those are 3 just banging movies. Like, what a good director. And then he directed Jojo Rabbit.
Phenomenal movie.
Yeah, I think both of our favorite movie from 2019.
Hands down.
Yeah, so great. But like, again, can't show you that because we saw that together in theaters. I look forward to Thor, Love and Thunder, and whatever else he does next.
Star Wars, isn't he doing Star Wars?
He does a couple episodes of Mandalorian. I don't know if he's...
I'm pretty sure he's doing the next Star Wars movie.
That's all right with me.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Hopefully it's funny. Yeah, just one more thing about WandaVision. When it first started showing up, like, it was fun. I Love Lucy, Bewitched kind of throwbacks. And I liked it a lot. But when Mandalorian came out, like, I'm much more of a Marvel fan than I am a Star Wars fan, but I like both. I like pretty much everything. When Mandalorian came out every week, I was really on it. Like, I was so excited for Friday to come around, and we watched it as soon as we both had free time. And WandaVision wasn't as interested as I was Mandalorian. But now, 7 days is rough to wait for the next episode. It's really entertaining, I think.
Yeah, again, to me, Marvel is cool. It's fine. I watched it when I was younger because I grew up in, like, a smaller town. And, like, the midnight premieres were, like, the thing to do.
Yeah.
But once I graduated and, like, moved, I kind of stopped watching them because there was other things to do. But I love WandaVision because I love, like, the throwback. Mm-hmm.
We have 6 seasons of I Love Lucy in our cabinet right there.
I Love Lucy was my favorite show growing up. I'm an old soul. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's really clever the way that they film it and change it, and huge fan of WandaVision, even though I might not always understand, like, the Marvel part of it. But
like, this most recent episode, do you know why he's dressed like that? No. Well, I'll look it up here.
Yeah.
He looks like this because that's what he looks like.
Yeah.
And, like, Malcolm in the Middle, this most recent episode, I've seen maybe 3 episodes, but, like, they just nail it.
Yeah.
And the energy is so different every episode, I feel like, but it's still so congruent and cohesive.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
I feel like this is just the WandaVision episode.
Yeah. Same. I haven't really seen Malcolm in the Middle. Because we thought it was going to be Friends. That's what we wanted it to be.
Yeah, they skipped the it was like an 80s, 90s blend last episode.
For Full House, yeah.
And now it's like the early noughts. So they just skipped the 90s, which is fine.
No, 90s is the best.
That's true. Like Frasier, Friends, Seinfeld. Yeah. Like, I feel like
they could have done
huge sitcoms from the 90s, but how do you do that with kids?
Friends has kids. Not really.
No,
but,
not really. Ross has kids.
And Rachel. Anyway. So we were like, what is this? And about 20 seconds, I was like, oh, it's totally Malcolm in the Middle. And I've barely seen any episodes, but yeah, I was very proud of myself.
Very good job.
Thank you.
You've been really nailing it with getting things correct recently. Honey buns.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to my sister.
Ayo. Again, have never eaten one, but I knew what was up.
I had no idea what she was talking about. Anyway, this is too personal for the wide audience. But anyway.
Oh, Kick-Ass.
Yes, Kick-Ass, also from WandaVision.
But I only got that because of my
crush for Aaron Taylor
old
Johnson.
love of Aaron Taylor Johnson.
How old? Not. So when we get into the movie, a lot of the beginning, I had to just say, "Oh, that senator there, the blonde senator, he died in the first one. He turned to a mutant, turned into a puddle of water. He's dead." And you're like, "But how is he not dead?" Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I was like, he's not dead. He's right there.
Yeah.
I was very confused.
At about maybe 25 minutes in, we probably should have done this earlier, but you had me pause it and just say like, "What happened in the first one?"
Yeah, because I was real confused.
Yeah, I have I just grew up with these movies, so I feel like if you just jump into like the second or third installment in a series, like you just know what's going on because you know it. You've grown up with it. So that's happened a lot this week, I feel like.
Yeah, Brooke does not know it.
Yeah, which is totally fine. Like I don't mind explaining things, but I think the opening is the strongest of quite a few just comic book movies in general. Like it's really, really cool with just Nightcrawler bamfing around, teleporting around. It's cool stuff.
Yeah, it was really cool.
You can chew your popcorn.
I have nothing to say about it.
She has a giant bowl of popcorn that she's been slowly... Okay, she has a bowl of popcorn.
It is smaller than my hand.
Okay, she has a bowl of popcorn next to her that she's been munching on. So whenever I throw it at her and she doesn't respond...
It's because I have nothing to say. Because I have had popcorn in my mouth and still responded.
That's true.
I just sometimes don't have anything to say. It was a cool scene.
All right. I think this movie is deceptively... Like, the bad guy's plan is deceptively well thought out. It's kind of, like, loose and people just kind of go their own way and have their own separate missions. But at the end, I feel like it really coalesces into, a solid scheme that this guy has. William Stryker. Wouldn't you agree? Big thumbs down from Brooke.
I don't like William Stryker.
He's a bad dude.
He's the worst. I feel like every time I watch a new movie, I'm very into, I just don't like bad people. Like, I get so frustrated that somebody would act that way or think that way or whatever. And there's nothing more frustrating to me in a movie when there's a bad guy and the hero, lets them go or, keeps them...
Very bloodthirsty.
Yeah, just kill him. Get it out of the way. I know in a movie, if they keep him around, they're somehow going to escape and make things worse. Yeah. And
we watched 2 movies this week where that happened.
Just kill him!
Yeah, the Da Vinci Code we watched, just because we're really struggling because we finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
And we just have been watching a couple movies. And Silas, that guy.
Yeah, if you've seen Da Vinci Code, we should have talked about this at the beginning. Because X-Men, one of my notes is there's a scene that gives me major Da Vinci Code vibes. In the church when they find Nightcrawler.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Also, the bad guy...
He's just yelling German, which is similar to Latin to our ears.
Yeah, a foreign language.
Yeah.
The bad guy in Da Vinci Code is the bad guy in X-Men.
He is?
Yes.
Who?
Magneto.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's so many fake outs in Da Vinci Code. It's hard to keep track.
So that was fun. I immediately saw
Ian
Magneto.
McKellen. Yeah.
And was like, oh, bad dude in Da Vinci Code.
Yeah.
But, literally, I feel like especially Sean is good at, understanding...
That's me.
...really deep, plots. Like Tenet. He got it really easily, and I have seen it twice, and I'm still kind of
I don't know if I got it really easily. Once the subtitles were on, it's a very easy to understand movie, but without the subtitles, they're talking into a tin can.
But with Da Vinci Code, I think the day after we finished watching it, I Googled a synopsis because neither one of us, we were like, is this what?
Yeah, you just read it out loud in bed because we haven't read the book, and I'm sure it's all very well explained, or at least more explained.
It was I really liked the plot. I just...
One of your favorite movies is National Treasure, and it's just National Treasure but the church instead of America.
And a lot more violent.
Yeah, much more violent.
And I'm not a fan of violence, so I didn't like that.
But you're very bloodthirsty. Just off-screen bloodthirst.
Yeah, just like justice, which
Yeah.
isn't good. Like, also mercy is great, but when bad dudes are bad, just
Shoot him. Bless you.
thank you. Cut that out.
I will not.
Just like do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially in movies where they're like, I'm gonna ruin the universe.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, just kill them.
Yeah. The other movie we watched was actually a real delight to watch with you. Was Captain Marvel.
Hold on. The other thing about Da Vinci Code is I felt it was like a little sacrilegious. Like
Just a titch.
like it.
Yeah.
I hold like religion and like
Jesus.
very close to my heart, and I felt like it kind of danced and
Yeah. I will say, like, they did a good job because it was mostly the church that was the big evil. Or
yeah.
this.
And like
it wasn't the church. It was like a little subsect, weird committee.
Does it even exist in real life? We should look that
Super
up.
probably not.
Yeah, otherwise that did not look good for them.
Yeah.
A nun is murdered
Yeah, by a monk.
by a bad monk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of had a bad feeling, but the plot I loved.
Yeah.
Like
good
the
movie.
idea of it. Anyway,
Yeah.
this has so many tangents.
That's okay. We don't have much to say about the movie. But Captain Marvel, super fun to watch with you because, like, I know that Kree are bad. Like, they're bad in Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're just kind of... It just felt obvious that the Kree were the bad guys. So the big fake out for me when I was watching the movie in the theaters wasn't a big deal. Spoiler alert for Captain Marvel, but the Skrulls are the good guys.
Yeah. And I have seen I have seen Marvel movies, but I don't remember every single detail. So I didn't know the Kree.
I don't either, but I watched them a lot more than you do.
Yeah.
Rewatched them more.
So I had no idea the Kree were the bad guys. So that was fun. Also, again, I love, as Sean calls them, period pieces.
Oh,
So the fact that it was set in the
distant 95s, or the 95.
the year I was born.
I was born in 98. So I really enjoyed watching it with you because stop frowning at me.
I'm not gonna speak anymore.
It was really fun watching it with you because Ben Mendelsohn shows up and you're like, oh, that dude's totally bad. And just the whole movie, you're like, that dude's bad. That dude's bad. That guy's totally bad. Oh, Jude Law's bad? I knew it. And then
Jude Law is bad in real life and on the big screen.
Yeah, don't cheat on people.
With your nanny. Anyway. That's what I bring
Not
to this table.
Not to get political. No, I'm kidding.
That's what I bring to this table. You know, like, movie stuff, I know, like,
True. I don't
stuff.
I don't know any of that.
Just in passing, I don't like.
Mm-hmm. The point is, you're like, oh, like, I don't like these Skrulls, like, oh, they're terrible. And then it's revealed that they're the good guys, and you're like, so many Skrulls died.
Yeah, the opening scene, like, that whole
Yeah.
village was just killed.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
Yeah. It is sad.
And then they're great. Like, once you know they're good, they're amazing.
Oh, they're so funny.
Yeah.
Shaking their head at how long it's taking to load. Hilarious. The 90s were terrible. I would never want to go back.
You were too.
I was 0 and then 95. -3.
It's true.
Another instance where they did not just kill the bad guy. That's why they brought that up.
The other, like, vibe I was getting is Nightcrawler reminds me of a character in, like, he's giving me major Halloween Town vibes.
Haven't seen it.
Which is like a 90s early nods Disney Halloween movie.
Yeah. Halloween's my favorite holiday. Halloween movies, I don't really like. They're not very good generally, I think.
Yeah, I just grew up like watching it.
Of course, yeah.
But he just reminded me of like a character in there. We laughed at what's his name? The Iceman?
Bobby.
What's his X-Men name?
Iceman.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Iceman like blows in Wolverine's drink.
Yeah, super not COVID appropriate.
Yeah. We both just laughed at that. Like, that would not happen now. Although, if you were a mutant, you probably wouldn't get COVID.
Don't know. Well, Wolverine, he's fine.
Yeah.
He has a healing factor. He could...
Yeah. I guess it depended on the mutant.
Yeah.
Anyway. Also, the scene where Mystique, like, pretends to be into that security guard guy and, like, takes him into a dirty old bathroom stall.
To basically drug him and put metal in him.
Yeah.
For Magneto.
That should have been the first and final red flag for that guy. Don't make out in gross bathrooms. That's the end of that story. Lesson learned.
It's a PSA.
Yeah. Somebody's taking you to a
Only
bathroom.
make out in clean bathrooms.
Yeah. I remember growing up, I went to go visit my aunt in Arizona. And there were
snuck into a bathroom?
No. I was in like 8th grade. There were 2 like middle schoolers or high schoolers making out behind a dumpster. And my aunt was like, if a boy ever takes you behind a dumpster, dump them.
Ooh, nice little
gross.
wordplay.
Yeah. The other thing about X-Men is just like people full... my literal note is people full of hate are yuck. And I just feel like there's so many people full of hatred in this movie. And it's just sad and awful, and
like
I need to calm down.
Yeah. I'm no expert with the comics by any means, but like they were kind of introduced in I think the 80s as like an example of like racism and sexism and stuff like that, and to show that because when the X-Men team was like updated, Wolverine was from Canada, Storm was from somewhere in Africa, sorry, I don't know. Colossus was from Russia, just everybody was from these other places, so it was kind of forward in that way where most every other superhero was white.
And from America.
Yeah, and from America, and probably male. So it's just, this movie I think is kind of carries that through. I got a lot of kind of coming out, especially when Bobby goes to meet his parents, it felt very like him coming out as gay kind of vibe. He's coming out as a mutant to his parents, but they were reacting the same way that, you know, someone might have.
Yeah, and it's just sad.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of talked about, because Bobby's brother calls the police on them, and then the final scene, like the final bit of that scene is like Bobby looking in the window and the mom's like holding the son that called the police or whatnot. And Sean and I talked, and it's like, if we had a different kid and a hateful kid, it would be harder for me
to love the hateful kid.
Yeah. No, I don't know if love's the right word, but like...
side with.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I just think...
if one of our kids is a mutant, we'll treat them just as well.
Yeah. And if our other kid doesn't like mutants, they're going to have a talking to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The other thing that
like this past year especially, like the whole Black Lives Matter movement, watching this movie back, like, lets us see that a lot more than I did when I was 6, watching this over and over again. Also because I'm no longer 6 and understand things.
Yeah. I also think it's interesting, like, Sean told me the backstory of Magneto and why he hates humanity.
He's a Holocaust survivor and was experimented on by Nazis because he was a mutant.
And seeing that, and like, I've done a lot of research into the Holocaust. Like, I did like 111 page, not dissertation, but like this huge project in middle school, and like my favorite museum is the Holocaust Museum in DC. Like,
very harrowing, but good.
Yeah, just I don't want to say I'm interested in the Holocaust, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I'm passionate to know more.
Yeah.
And so, kind of watching Magneto and like understanding where he's coming from, I am shocked that in real life more Holocaust survivors aren't psychopaths because of what they had to go through. I agree. Like, if I could lift baseball stadiums and that happened to me, like, of course, like that. Yeah. Well, even that's what I'm saying. Like, movie aside, just to come out of the Holocaust and like live through those horrors. Yeah. The fact that talking about
Magneto, I think his dichotomy with Professor X is the best part of all of these movies. Like, they're friends, but they're enemies, and
they're frenemies.
Exactly, and they both want what's best for mutant kind. It's just Magneto wants to exterminate the humans, and Professor X wants to learn to coexist with them, and they both just are so adamant in their beliefs, and they're both so powerful with their mutants powers. Powerful with their powers. It's just easily my favorite part of the first trilogy. And my favorite X-Men movie is X-Men First Class. I would have shown you that one had it been available on anything that we watch. But showing their relationship, especially in that one, and you see a lot more of Magneto's backstory in that movie as well. It's just, yeah, it's great. My favorite part of all the X-Men. Something that Marvel MCU proper, I feel like, is missing.
I liked the scene where Werewolf is battling Stryker's...
Wolverine? You said werewolf.
Okay. When Wolverine is battling, like, Stryker's assistant, because he's battling himself.
Oh, yeah.
Like...
Oh, what's her name? It's like Lady Death Touch or something.
Oh.
I'll look it up. I can't. You have to look it up.
That's not what it is in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like it's a Japanese name, I assume. You can look it up because I don't know what to look up. But yeah, I just thought that was cool. Like, he knows how invincible he is.
Yeah, my favorite line of this whole movie, I don't remember it, but watching it back, it's hilarious, where Stryker's men assault the mansion, and Wolverine basically, like, one-handedly just rips through all of these guys and saves all the students that he can. And he closes the door behind Bobby and Rogue, and he's like, all right. He stands down all of the soldiers in the hallway and just says, if you want to shoot me, shoot me! Just, it's so good. What a great line. I would be very intimidated.
But yeah, so I thought that was cool, like, how can he defeat himself?
Mm-hmm. Lady Deathstrike.
Nice.
Yep. I remember hearing somewhere that when she goes to capture Professor X when he visits Magneto, that there's going to be like a pretty like cool fight scene between Cyclops and her. And I think Cyclops was sick, or they didn't have the budget, or they didn't have the time or something. So they just made him get knocked out pretty much immediately.
Yeah, it's pretty sure.
I think James Marsden is great in these movies, but he doesn't get a lot to do. And I think that's pretty tragic because he's great. I love James Marsden.
Yeah. He's been in 2 of the 4 movies we've done.
That's true.
Yeah.
And everybody always leaves him. Jean Grey leaves him for a dam. And what's her name? Allie leaves him for Ryan Gosling.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jason is a sad story.
Kind of William Stryker's the big bad, but he's
the tool, the key.
He's the weapon.
Yeah.
He's cool. He's scary though.
He is. And what made me really sad, and again, I don't know the backstory. Sean kind of explained it to me, where I didn't know if he was a psychopath, which is why his dad hated him, or because his dad hated him and like
because he's a mutant,
tortured him. Now he's a psychopath. But in the end, when he's like trying to kill all the humans and they like fight it, he's like a little girl in Dr. X's mind.
Professor X's mind.
Okay. Professor X's mind. And when he knows that he's like losing, he's so sad. And he's like, I can't remember exactly what it says, but something along the lines of like, he'll be so angry. So even in his like sad state, he just feels like fear and like, which is sad.
It is sad.
I didn't like that.
Did you like the final, I guess, reveal where Magneto helps them throughout all of this? And then he goes to Professor X and says, well, he has Mystique go to Jason as William Stryker and say, actually, kill all the humans.
No, I pretty much knew that they were...
You did call it. I was impressed.
Yeah.
Good job.
I've also knew he was a bad dude.
Who?
Magneto.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So,
I'm not saying the reveal that he was a bad guy. He's always a bad guy.
Yeah.
Somewhat. But
sometimes.
That's what makes him so cool, is he's kind of a bad guy all the time, but it's kind of not.
But yeah, like, it made sense.
Yeah. I think it's cool. Because, like, the first X-Men movie, his plan, kind of weird. But this one, like...
Makes sense.
The bad guy set up all the work, and he's like, well, this worked out pretty well for me. Just kill all the humans, why don't you? My final note is when he goes to visit Bobby, and he grabs a beer from the fridge. Wolverine, I mean. He just never closes the door.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy to me. Just close the fridge.
Both of us. It's like this intense... Well, not really intense, but... That's not what you're supposed to get out of the scene. Yeah. And both of us were like, close the fridge!
Yeah, it does lead out to I think that scene leads to a pretty cool cop fight scene where Pyro just blows everything up.
Yeah. Also, we lose Pyro.
Yeah.
He goes to the dark side. Mm-hmm. But you can also kind of gleam that.
Yeah, he's a bad dude.
Yeah.
I love the cop. Well, I don't love it, but the cop that shoots Wolverine right in the head and kind of like knocks him out. is great when he like gets blasted back by Pyro. They're all leaving to go onto the X jet, I think it's called, and Wolverine just walks by, completely unscathed, and the cop is just like, "Ooh," like.
Sorry about that, bro.
Yeah. All right. So final thoughts. I know you've already said, but did you like X-Men 2?
I did. I would be interested in seeing the first one.
Yeah.
And like.
First is
exploring
good.
it more.
Third one's fine. Origins is bad. First Class is my favorite. I'm trying to do all this by memory. Wolverine is good. Days of Future Past is great. Apocalypse is really easily my least favorite. They spend the whole third act just on a rock while Magneto's flying about. And Dark Phoenix, it's alright. It gives a lot of hate. And I haven't seen New Mutants, and I don't super plan to. When it's free, I'll probably watch it. So next week, we don't really know what we're going to do.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, Brooke does.
Well, Valentine's Day special.
Yay.
I think I'm going to...
Happy Valentine's Day, Brooke.
Yes.
A day early.
I'm going to show a rom-com, and then I think we'll do like a quick, how well do we know each other?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
So.
I like it.
There you go.
Do you want to put it out tomorrow?
I think so.
Okay. So look forward to that, because you're going to have 2 episodes, one after another.
Whoop whoop.
Well, I don't know what I'm going to do next week, so why don't you just put in the comments some good movies, and again, let us know what TV shows to watch, because we are...
Out of them.
We've watched all of them that we know of.
Oh, that's not true, but
Yeah.
things that we'd both be interested in,
Mhm.
I think, is hard.
Yeah, I agree. We tend to like comedies.
Yeah.
Maybe we should give Seinfeld a go.
Okay.
Okay. If you were going to comment Seinfeld, delete it.
Okay.
All right.
Have a great holiday weekend.
Yes. No school Monday, so look forward to that.
I am.
All right. Goodbye.